came to know God for myself, I would think around maybe my sophomore year in college. I found myself journaling a lot because I was just going through those young age issues, not really issues if you think about it to this day, but I was just battling those types of things. And so I found that writing things down actually gave me peace. And I started using that as a mechanism to um, just clear my mind, release anxiety. And I always started my journaling as Dear God. And at that time, I didn't think that I was like developing a relationship with God. But then I started noticing things that I was writing in the book were manifesting. And then it started coming to me, okay, I am communicating with God. He's hearing my prayers. One particular God moment where I knew he was speaking to me was about 2009. I was living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I graduated from the Art Institute in fall 2008. I was having a very difficult time trying to find a job within the industry. Matter of fact, the night before we graduated, Bush made the announcement that we were headed to a deep recession. And I'll never forget that moment when I was standing in my living room watching that news break. And I'm thinking, okay, God orchestrated me to come down here for this degree. He's going to take care of it. So I ended up getting this position at a very small manufacturing company owned by a husband and wife. They had like 4 women in the back who produced these sweatshirts. My main job was to post things on eBay. And one day I was sitting there and I'm just going through my normal motions of posting things. And it's literally like I zone completely out. And I see him coming to me and he's saying, we're going to have to let you go. And I kind of just sat there for a minute, and it was a normal day. Nothing odd was going on. Honestly, there was nothing in the natural that would have made me think that. And so towards the end of the day, he rolled his chair by mine and he started having the conversation about letting me go. And I completely zoned out because I'm like, this is happening. This is really like, I just saw this a few hours ago and this is happening. Like God just showed me this and it's happening. And honestly, I had to hold back from laughing or smiling because I know he would have thought that was crazy because he's giving me bad news. But inside, I was okay. And it was funny because I already knew it was coming. And, after he had that conversation, I went and spoke with his wife and like I had no negative energy. And my now husband, I had to call him to tell him what just happened. But he was just kind of like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But he's like, okay. And I had already had some financial struggles that I was dealing with. I wasn't making a lot of money at that company as it was. But I was just like, okay, this is what God wants me to do. After that occurred, I actually started another job maybe about 2 months later. Worked that job for 3 months and was laid off again. Like 2008, fall 2008 to fall 2009 was just total chaos. And so to get laid off again, I've never been laid off. I'm a hard worker. This never happened to me. And so to go through that again, I'm just like, okay, God, what's happening? But that was the biggest year of my spiritual growth. That year, I don't know if I've ever prayed, fasted, really developed my relationship with God because he was working in me a few things through that job. One thing I have to admit is that I have a kind of an issue with authority. And it's not that I'm just bucking at authority, but I have a controlling nature. So I want to do things the way I want to do them. And I had a great friend who I'm still friends with now to this day, who used to take me in a back room and pray with me. And we did this almost daily. I could be in tears because I knew I still wasn't at where I was supposed to be. But I had to stay there. And she would always tell me, you got to let that go. You're not doing what God asked you to do. You're still trying to control things. You still going against what your boss is telling you to do because you don't want to do it. But that's not what God is telling you to do. You have to obey all authority. He put you in that position, and that's what you're supposed to do. And that was hard. That was so hard. And now thinking back, of course, that goes into my life now because I'm married, and so I need to be able to take that into my marriage. And it took a lot of pain, and still it's not that easy because it's just naturally who I am. But I can take those moments where if I didn't go through that year, I would not know God the way I do now. Looking back, I think God showed me that because I was already in a place of kind of questioning my decisions. Why did I move here? I had one financial situation after the other. And for me to get another blow could have really taken me into a negative space. And I think he had to show me that to prepare me, to give me that comfort, to say it's okay. No matter what comes your way, I'm sending it to you for a reason. And don't be afraid, just go with it. And it really helped me to not focus on the actual event of being laid off, but just said, okay, this is what God wants for me right now. I'm not in the place where I need to and be okay with that. And, after that event, the trials didn't stop. They kept coming. And every time I was able to come back to that moment where God is working something out, and you just have to just learn to appreciate the process. Somebody who's going through a very tough time, if this year has been, the biggest challenge that you've seen, or, you just feel like there's one complication after another, I say to you, hold on to the hope and the promise. That's what you have. Every day you say, God told me that I'm not going to be here forever. And you keep telling yourself that every single day, no matter what. And keep knowing He's your protector. He has you. He's not going to let you go. But He's sending you through this season for a reason. And 90% of the time, I feel that is character building for yourself. There's something that He wants to tweak in you to lift you to where He has a plan for you that you have no idea. I still to this day am waiting patiently. I laugh at that because I've had to develop a lot of patience lately to see what is it that He has destined for me. But you have to learn how He speaks to you so that you can make sure that you're walking in accordance to His word. God is my protector. He, no matter what it is, like I know He is protecting me, even small, really small things. And this is going to sound crazy, but you know, I don't worry per se about what's coming because even if I don't feel it's going to be something I like, He's still protecting me from something. I can't see it, but I know it's there, and I'm okay with that.